Hello everyone, my name is Rage and welcome one and all to a fun little video where we're gonna find out the most broken weapon in Overwatch. And I don't mean mechanical strength within context of the game. No, I mean if we could magically zap one of Overwatch's weapons into real life and it functioned like it did in the game, which one would be the most just ridiculous if we applied real-world physics to it? Because it's always something I've found to be a lot of fun and generally amusing to work out just how ridiculous something in fiction is, and by hell, this sounds like one of the nerdiest things I'm ever going to do in a video in my life. So, who's my pick? Is it gonna be Reaper with his pocket dimension full of infinite shotguns that fade out of existence when he's done with them? No, the one that I'm going to go for is my main man, Roadhog. This seemingly innocent weapon cobbled together with tape, wood, plastic and metal that functions very similar to a normal shotgun. He loads it with bits of scrap and blasts it in the face of his enemies, attempting to rip them to shreds with sharp bits of metal. Roadhog should quite literally be torn apart whenever he uses his ultimate. So how do I know this? Now, in order to come to the conclusions that we're about to come to, we do need to do a little bit of experimentation and then back that up with some quick and dirty maths. And I'm talking dirty maths, just the way you like it. So there may be a few little inaccuracies, because we do have to assume some things. So, in the following example, we see a diva point blank in front of Roadhog, and he uses his ultimate. Now this, in 1 second, sends the diva robot flying backwards through the air about 45 meters away, and the mech travels 30 of these meters in the first half second, so we're gonna put velocity at about 60 meters per second. We measure the actual distance with tracer blinks because we know that each blink is 7 meters-ish. Again, the dirty maths is rising. Now, you may be thinking, so what, Rage? Well, consider this. Diva's mech is huge. It's 8 feet tall. It's a big-ass walking hunk of metal with a person inside it. It is not unreasonable to assume it weighs about a ton, a bit less than a small car. So, that means that Roadhog has launched a ton of mech at 60 meters per second with the first blast of his shotgun from using his ultimate. That is actually insane. Almost instantaneously launching a ton 30 meters away is kind of mind-boggling, so we're gonna use these numbers for the rest of the video. We'll guess that Roadhog's gun is about 30 kilograms. Zarya's was worked out to be about 45. She ripped it off a tank and could barely hold it. Roadhog's gun is as big as some of the characters, so I think 30 kilograms isn't too ridiculous. The shrapnels are just bits of metal. We can do what we can do with that, and we get his total velocity on the diva launch at 69. And this is assuming the angle she got fired up in the air is 30. So yes, as I said, dirty, but you know, it gives us some numbers to work with. So what does this mean then? Well, it only bloody means that the energy output of Roadhog's shotgun when it starts its ultimate is 2.4 million joules, which is a huge ass number, but let's quantify that for you. But first, what I will say is that personally, I kind of really suck at maths, so I did get some help on this by a very, very lovely gentleman by the name of Joe Foo Free, who very much helped me with the numbers. But this also means that if they're wrong, it's entirely his fault. Yay! Diverting blame. So, to put this into perspective, I'm sure you've all heard of a famous, infamous, more like 50 caliber bullet. Getting shot by one of these out of a sniper, for example, in the shoulder, can very much take your arm off. There's been reports of someone getting hit in the shoulder by a 50 cal and actually having their arm hanging there by a few tendons. So let's relate this back to Roadhog's shotgun and the kind of power that it is toting. If we say that there are 24 bits of scrap, for ease of math's sake, and also it's a pretty reasonable number, it's probably a little bit too much, but that just means the real answer is even more ridiculous. So let's assume there's 24. That means each piece of scrap is launched out this gun with 100,000 joules of energy. To put that in perspective, a 50 cal launches with about 18,000. So if we work this out, each bit of scrap being fired out of Roadhog's gun is traveling at over double the speed of a 50 cal round at about 2,000 meters per second. And he's churning this level of power out permanently for 6 seconds. That is kind of unreal. This also means quite a few other things. Number one, his gun should just be completely and utterly torn apart when he fires. It shouldn't be able to contain the own power within it. Roadhog himself should be blown backwards at about 130 meters per second when he fires the thing. So the fact that he doesn't even move backwards when firing it means that he is effectively a friction controlling reality warper, as the friction coefficient that he'd be toting is about 850, which, to put that in perspective, your average tire clocks in at just 0.7, and he's holding it in place, which means his arm strength is unreal, because what should happen, he should activate the ult, and the weapon should get flown backwards into him, burrowing through his body and out the other side and off into the distance, because after all, every force has an equal and opposite reaction. So if he's outputting every bit of this energy forwards, blasting away the diva, he's now feeling it backwards, and this gun don't want to be stopped, but he's holding it there, which means that Roadhog's arm strength is somewhat incredible. He is outputting 250,000 newtons of force to keep that gun still while firing his ult. To put that in perspective, that means that Roadhog could comfortably bench press 3 T-Rexes at once piled on top of each other. He could also bench press 8 pickup trucks at the same time. He also could just about lift your mother. It's just insane. Sorry, I couldn't resist. I'm sorry. I'm sure she's a lovely woman for raising such a wonderful viewer. So, not only does Roadhog stop the gun from moving, he is somehow able to walk forward while it fires, meaning that his leg strength is even greater than his arm strength. Now, your average human leg strength is a lot higher than arm strength, over double, but we'll be conservative and say that Roadhog's legs can plow forward with 400,000 newtons of force. That means that Roadhog walks forward with the same kind of strength as 6 T-Rexes, to go back to the T-Rex examples, because T-Rexes are cool. It also means that if he really gave it his all, and assuming, as we have, that we've lowballed a few of his numbers, he could give a firm, swift kick to a tank and send it skidding away from him. Now that is what I call not skipping leg day. Now, granted, what this implies about Roadhog isn't relevant to the most broken gun question, but I think a seemingly normal shotgun that fires scrap, outputting nearly 2.5 million joules of energy, I think that counts as pretty ridiculous and is pretty conclusively the most broken weapon in Overwatch. What's that? What's that? We've got a... Oh my god, we've got a new challenger approaching. Oh my word, there is a more broken weapon in Overwatch. Something that defies the very laws of physics. Who wields such a weapon? Well, the name's...
I am a robot, hello.
Dang it, stupid-ass robot! As I was saying, the name...
I'm still a robot, hello.
You know what? Back to you, narrator, or I'm gonna kill me some robots. Awesome! Now that we're done with the worst McCree impression of all time, you may be thinking, what? He's just got one of the most basic guns going. It's a plain revolver. Well, did you know it was crafted by the very Time Lords themselves? Because it's bigger on the inside. It can tear the very fabric of reality, warp the world around it, and generate matter out of thin air, a previously thought scientific impossibility. Watch as he initially generates 5 bullets out of nowhere without reloading.
It's high noon.
And then fires 9 times with only 6 bullets. So, there we have it. Conclusive proof. McCree's revolver is the most broken weapon in all of Overwatch. It literally creates matter out of thin air, which must mean that McCree is some sort of reality-controlling god who has taken cowboy form and likes fighting for Overwatch. There we have it, everyone. Conclusive proof, if I've ever seen it. So, you know, I will say that entirely this video is just pointless, but at the same time I hope you had fun with me and I hope you enjoyed the calculations, and I think every now and then it's just amusing to do something like this. Obviously people don't consider this stuff when they do game mechanics because who really cares, but I do like it when you work out what's going on. Let me know if you enjoyed this. I know it's different, I know it might have sucked, but hey, I like to try new things. Subscribe for more, and I'll see you all next time. Oh, goodbye.